Imagine opening your inbox, or even worse, your news feed, and hearing that your team or the department that saved the taxpayers millions of dollars is suddenly being cut. Well, if you're a federal employee, guess what? You don't have to imagine that. It's happening, and the fear of it is keeping you up at night. I'm a retired administrative law judge, and I'm here to flip that fear on its head. In this video, I'm going to share the exact strategy I used to save my public sector department from elimination. We flipped a potentially catastrophic loss into a strategic win. And don't you click off if you're an HR generalist, an administrative assistant, or anything you consider too low level to make a difference, because I'm telling you, every single one of you can make a difference. This battle plan, and let's face it, it's a war, so you do need a battle plan, is designed to not only secure your future, but save your department even when the odds are stacked against you. So if you're ready to take control of your destiny, stay tuned, because we're turning this threat into opportunity. I'm here to help you. I'm not a professional content creator. I don't have, for example, a teleprompter. I'm going to refer to a lot of notes. I may even read some of my statements because the information is just too darned important. I'm retired, but I want to get this information out to you because it's critical that you have it. All across the country, federal employees are facing a common enemy. It's DOGE and their minions. They have a mission of budget cuts and political promises to apparently save taxpayer money at any cost. Recently, we're seeing them take a wrecking ball to our agencies, portraying them as bloated, inefficient, and ready for outsourcing. My battle plan for you isn't just about saving your job, although that is extremely important. It's also about preserving critical public services that keep our communities running. Think of this: a newly elected official, armed with promises of fiscal responsibility, points to an agency and says, "We don't need these people," or "We can do it cheaper elsewhere." The focus shifts from quality of service to numbers, and that is where the battle begins. Let me take you back a moment. This is a time from my own career when I was working in human resources for a county government. It was in Washington State. And I want you to think about whether this kind of sounds familiar. We had a newly elected county commissioner. He was voted in with campaign promises of having a radical agenda, slash that bloated spending across the county, save the taxpayers' money. And he started targeting HR. He publicly declared that 14 HR employees was an absolute waste of money. He said that the county could outsource benefits and totally eliminate labor and employee relations in preparation for getting rid of all 9 of the county's unions. While my colleagues and HR director were gripped with fear, I saw an opportunity. I knew that every grievance, every negotiation, every process we handled was designed to save money. In fact, one agreement that I'd negotiated with the 9 unions had already saved the county $10 million over 5 years. That figure wasn't just a number, it's now proof of our essential role. So I sprang into action. I gathered every piece of data, every success story I could find, and I built a compelling presentation. At the next public commissioner meeting, which was going to be televised, I got on the agenda. And because I was a department, I was on the agenda before the votes occurred. The vote to eliminate my own department. I made my case. I broke down all of our achievements in simple, undeniable terms. And as my presentation unfolded, I could see, one by one, the commissioners were starting to see what I saw. HR is not a cost center. HR was a money-saving powerhouse. In the end, the proposal to eliminate our department was not only scrapped, we were celebrated as an example of cost-saving strategies to use across the county. So what exactly made this approach so effective? Well, I look at it as 4 critical pillars to win a campaign. And any one of you, regardless of where you work in your organization, can get the ball rolling on this. With pillar 1, you need to gather data-driven evidence. You need hard numbers to demonstrate your impact. In my case, it was that $10 million over 5 years. That wasn't just impressive, it was irrefutable proof that our work paid off. In pillar 2, you need clear, relatable communication. Complex internal processes only become compelling when you translate them clearly by outcomes. Decision makers don't need to know every detail, but they have to understand the bottom line. Pillar 3 is public accountability. You have to secure some kind of public accountability. In my case, it was a televised meeting because he had crowed so much about what he was going to do. The opportunity was ripe for me to get on the agenda. When taxpayers and officials see the facts, it's harder to ignore them. And you know there are facts out there. You and your agency need to find a way to get that word out far and wide. Let's face it, the public doesn't know what you do or why it matters, and it's time to change that. And even if you have to manage up to do it, it's time. I have a video that includes how to do it, and I'll put the link in the description below and on the screen of this video. Pillar 4, I call preparation and timing. You have to proactively prepare your case now before the cuts are even proposed within your agency. You and your department need to get out ahead of this and control the narrative. And this can be done quickly. I put this together in a matter of days, so don't say you don't have time, because you know what? You don't have time not to do this. Each of these pillars can be adapted to any department or any agency facing similar threats. And if you're a federal employee, you know there's a target on your back. And guess what? I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. The target is not going away under this administration. Not for a day. They are coming for you, and they're not going to stop. Don't be misled by the court cases. The court cases are just an opportunity for them to figure out a different way to come at you. They're not going to stop. So let's break down how you can build your own campaign and prove your department's value. I want you, like I said, to gather your data. Identify projects or initiatives that have saved money. Dig through contracts, performance reports, internal audits. Also, I want you to document efficiency. You can document efficiency improvements. What has your department done to have faster processing time, better customer service, better delivery on outcomes, enhanced compliance? All of that saves money because time is money. Then performance metrics. Use statistics and measurable outcomes to build your case. Be sure to put it in charts and infographics and make the data as easy to understand as possible. Because again, it could even be that your senior leadership really doesn't know how much you're accomplishing, but you and your department, your team, you know your value. It's time to gather it. This is a war. Next, step 2, craft your narrative. Numbers tell a story, but you know what? Numbers need context. They need to be humanized. So ask yourself, how did these savings benefit the public? What risks to the public did doing this help avoid? What ways did your department innovate, improve efficiency, get ahead of the curve? Combine these answers into a compelling story so it will resonate with both the public and decision makers. Step 3, put your presentation together. First, I want you to start with the big picture. Outline the current challenges and threats that your department faces. Then, drill into your achievements. Present the data and the story side by side. For example, when it came to my own personal achievement, I said something like, the agreement I negotiated with the unions not only saved our taxpayers $10 million so far, it continues to ensure that as an employer, we're providing a higher level of healthcare coverage to all of our employees. And that translates into further savings through higher job satisfaction, lower turnover, and being able to recruit the most qualified employees in the state of Washington. As our commissioners, I'm certain all of you are well aware that we do have one of the lowest turnover rates of any public employer in Washington. And that boils down to our high caliber people being given what they need so they can perform like the superstars they are. After the achievement section, I want you to have a section that covers anticipated pushback. Build right into the presentation any pushback that you can see coming. Address their pushback with counter arguments. In litigation, we call that taking the sting out of the opponent's argument. If someone's going to say, for example, that, well, outsourcing is cheaper, head that off by explaining the hidden costs they may not be considering and the provable loss of quality that results in outsourcing. Step 4, you've got to engage your stakeholders and your allies now. You don't have to fight this battle alone, and you shouldn't be fighting it alone. With your internal team, get everyone on board, involve your colleagues, gather the testimonials because they can reinforce data with testimonials. When it comes to external partners, leverage support from unions, community groups, local media. Their endorsement add credibility to your case. I had representatives from all 9 of our unions, as well as dozens of their members, in the audience that night behind me, and when I started my presentation, they silently stood up. What a visual that made. And get buy-in from key decision makers. Arrange for meetings with your supervisors and local officials and walk them through your findings before it goes public. Step 5, get in front of senior leadership. Use the public forums to your advantage. You have to start taking your message directly to people outside of your agency. Like I said, the public doesn't know what you do. They don't know what it's going to cost them to not have you doing your job. You've got to change this. Even if you are an HR generalist, an assistant in a department, you've got to start managing this message up the chain. Find opportunities to get the message out. Get it up to senior leadership. In every team meeting, remind them you've got to go on the offensive. You've got to start this campaign. You've got to also advocate that your media relations start making better use of your accomplishments. It's not happening because the public is still too ignorant, and what that means is the message isn't out there. It's time to stop thinking someone else out there somewhere is going to handle all this, because guess what? They're not. It's up to you. Step 6, follow up and keep any momentum going. After your presentation, even if it's just to your boss, even if you just get on the agenda for your department's weekly or monthly team meeting, put together a presentation on why you need to do this, why your boss needs to put one together and present at senior leadership, why senior leadership needs to do the presentation to the head of the agency, why they need to get media relations involved. Every time you're talking, collect some feedback so that you understand what is resonating and connecting with people and what questions still remain. Also, update your data and keep records of improvement going forward. Keep adding to it. Keep it a live, up-to-date presentation. And plan for the future. Even if this war right now goes away, and frankly, I don't see that happening, this is a practice and an ongoing thing that you can take with you into the future so that you're always ready to prove your worth at a moment's notice. By following these steps, you're not just defending your team, your department, your agency. You're proactively proving your indispensable value. At the heart of this campaign, it's effective communication. So you need to remember to keep it simple. Don't put jargon in. Use plain language. Be transparent. Honesty builds trust, so admit your defeats, admit your challenges, but then show how you overcome them. Show what you learned from them. Show how you up-leveled. Use real examples with concrete numbers. So it doesn't matter if there was some huge black or red mark on your department. Show what you've done to learn from that. That can be turned into a positive as well. I want you to remember to anticipate and not fear the pushback, even if it's just to your boss. When you communicate by anticipating pushback, you transform your work from a series of mundane tasks into a powerful narrative that underscores your essential role in serving the public. So here's my challenge to you. We all know you, your team, your department, and your agency is under threat. As I said, they're coming for you. I don't want you to be passive. I don't want you to be waiting to be taken out. You have to take action now. So gather your data, craft your story, get your message out. Let's show them through clear evidence and compelling stories that your work is not only essential, but it's a major asset to taxpayers. Because come on, we know public sector work is critical. We know you're an asset, not a liability. Even though you're just one person, you can start a movement that makes a difference. I'm going to drop videos every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 Eastern until further notice, because I have a lot of experience in all of this. I have a lot of information I can share that can help you. So if you found anything in this video useful, I could really use your help with hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe. I want you to ask questions in the comment, or drop me a comment and tell me anything that resonated with you or you found useful, so I can do more of that. They liked that. They need more of that. Let me know if I need to clarify anything. I can do upcoming videos responding to your questions. We need to work together to ensure that every critical government service is recognized and preserved. So I want you to stand tall, fight back, and document everything. So let's get to work.